we are stamped with Good Hope FM is the colored radio station. Right? Because essentially maybe we are or we were.
Yeah.
We are definitely moving away from that. We are merging.
Yeah. I feel that. I can't
You
lie.
feel it?
Yeah.
And I had this conversation yesterday with one of my colleagues. He's a black male, right? And he's saying, Celeste, I feel like we're in a space now more than ever that we're doing this. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of GenC. Right behind me, my name is Celeste Anthony, and I'm joined by, welcome JP. Welcome Rizwan to your own podcast.
Can I just say she wasn't sounding like this the whole time?
Why? What are you talking about?
There's like a button.
It's behind my head, actually, right? You didn't see me put it on.
The flicker. Beep bop, I am radio presenter.
There's 3 buttons I use for different occasions behind my head.
No, but thank you for that. It was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I think you were getting our names right.
Oh, people don't?
No.
But it's part of the it's part of the charm.
Yeah. No. I do my research. Because I could have done this. I could have said, welcome back to another episode. It's JP and Piccolo. Right?
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
but I
early
didn't.
episodes.
Throwy.
That's early episodes.
But I didn't.
I'm in danger now. I'm in danger now. Okay. Wow.
He's shook. He's looking for jokes.
Because you see, normally we ask the guests anything at we're not going to talk about. I wasn't asked.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't asked.
I feel like we started off on a wild note. I don't know what he's going to ask me. I'm scared.
But welcome, Celeste.
Thank you.
We are so honored to have you here. So just give us quickly, for those that do not know you, who is Celeste Anthony?
That's a weird question because I sometimes go, because when you ask who is Celeste Anthony, then people say what they do for work. And that's really not who I am. But for the sake of an introduction, I'm currently on Good Hope FM, a radio host, 6 to 9 o'clock, The Pulse on Good Hope FM. Also the voice inside of your Ackerman stores, 11 to 2 o'clock, sometimes 2 to 5 o'clock. Voiceover artist, MC, sulke goedjies.
On the LinkedIn profile.
That was LinkedIn.
So okay, flipping that. So this is like an allo question then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like who is?
Who is? It's much deeper.
Just tell us about the color that makes you.
You.
Wow.
You. Was he reading poetry?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I do think it's layered. This is what I would say if it was not a work-related question. I'd say I'm a colored female from Stellenbosch trying to make it outside of Stellenbosch.
So let's stay there a little bit. Because as someone from the north, but not Stellenbosch North, we know Stellenbosch
Stellenbosch
mostly...
is not the north. Can I just say that? It's the Boland.
The Boland.
Yeah.
You had to get it out of your system to make that mistake so that you can.
So we know it as a university town.
Yes, everyone does.
So you go there to do tertiary education, but there's, like you mentioned, an entire community that stays in Stellenbosch, but just on the other side of 44. So tell us a bit more about growing up.
Growing up in Stellenbosch. So I would say born and bred in Stellenbosch, but technically I was born in Wynberg.
No.
Because my parents are military. So I was born into a military hospital. Then lived in East River till I was 4.
Wow.
And then my father didn't want to raise a child there, so we moved to Stellenbosch. And then, so now they had to decide on schooling. And in fact, Stellenbosch is so small, but quite a variety of schools in there. Yeah. So I went to Law School Stellenbosch. So they called me Eekwarinkie. That's what you were called when you went there. And then I went to...
Sorry.
Yes, please.
Yes!
Yo, I'm impressed, bro. That was a lot.
It was given schoonlap, but I was like, where do I find butterfly in this?
Yeah, correct. No, it's solid. And then I had to make a decision as to what high school I wanted to go to. Here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to either Renish or Bloemhof, girls' schools, and my dad was like, no.
Ooh.
He thinks it's unhealthy to go to a single-sex school.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you didn't go to Renish, as a girl, if you didn't go to Renish or to Bloemhof, There were other options, but because I came from a Model C school, I assumed that they wanted to keep me in that stream. Yeah. So then there was only one other option, which was Hoërskool Stellenbosch. And technically, because I was Afrikaans, it was actually only Bloemhof and Stellenbosch High. So I ended up going to Hoërskool Stellenbosch, which was a fantastic time. And we were like, I think 1,000 pupils.
Yeah.
And then from there, the natural next step was Stellenbosch Universiteit. Which now, die maroon machine. But now looking back, I would have changed that. I would have not gone to university. I was definitely not emotionally ready. I was not emotionally mature. And now also, I suppose for my parents in retrospect, when I was in grade 1, they called them in and they said, listen, because Celeste's birthday is in December. She only catches up to this class in June, which would suggest that you keep her behind from a confidence point of view. Okay. Like, not from an academic point of view. Like, she's shy. Bro, I was sitting on the table in school and the kids were on the mat.
Yeah.
Because I was shy, I was whatever, all these things. And I think it literally caught up with me when I was 18. And I had to decide to go to university. I then forced myself basically in. I think I wasn't naturally accepted. I had to go in and speak. So for instance, was done. And then I was only accepted. Went and then partied for 2 years and then dropped out. And then I would go, so I had this education that was former Model C, which was fantastic because that's what my parents wanted. Give me a situation, I think most of us, they wanted to give you a better platform than what they had. And they did something good, but then sometimes it turns sour because they send you to that schools because they can afford to send you to that schools, but they themselves can't afford to stay in an area where those kids stay. So you go to those schools, but you still come back to staying in a colored area. And then within your colored area, you are there's a little coconut gedagtes. And it was uncomfortable.
So did you find a lot of that in your experience?
Yeah, especially in my so because I still went to my normal church, my colored church, which was a fantastic experience, and then I went to confirmation for 2 years. And it's in the confirmation class that I realized.
VGK.
VGK. Yeah. How did you know that? Man, the research team at GenC is good. And in my confirmation class in those 2 years, I realized the looks and the words and, you know, the little sayings behind my back.
Yeah.
So it was difficult, but I managed. But dropped out of university.
So it does bring the interesting talk, because it's almost as if you change from being sort of I can achieve this to be kind of being pushed out in terms of when you come back to those areas, because that was the idea, right? They sent you to the good school so that everyone can see, I can actually go to this good school, but it ends up being almost like a turned face to you because now you're no longer part of us.
Yeah,
but I'm still here.
Maybe even this. Maybe now as an adult thinking back. Maybe it wasn't necessarily them pushing me out as much as me not feeling included, or like I can get myself involved in these conversations. Yeah. Because they all came from 1 or 2 schools, so they all knew each other already.
Yeah.
Right? And so there was when we get into confirmation class, it's about what happened at school or what's coming up. Me, I'm sitting there.
Yeah. Not in the same.
No one is.
Yeah. I can't lie, guys. I've been transported to a different place for that. The talking point is a lot. Because I grew up in Elsis River.
Yeah.
I went to school in Bellville at Settlers. And it's like, I'm like I just realized now, oh my word, that's actually so true. Is that like, you almost have to be one person in that area and a completely different person when you get home. Yes, like it.
Yeah, you have like identity crisis at some point.
Yeah.
Because in this scenario, I am this person, and in this scenario, I then become this person because I had to become this person.
So how was that trip to Amsterdam when you were in high school?
Even me. Even me?
I feel in danger of my life. My managers are Okay, so I'll tell you about this. We had the opportunity to go. Our school would go to Amsterdam or either Germany every year, and they announced we're going to Amsterdam. If you're interested, come to the library and break. So I go to the library and break. I said to my one friend, "Come, we go." We just right. We're sitting there, like, telling us what this is gonna be. It's gonna be so quiet. This is what you're gonna experience. On paper, it was a student exchange, no?
Yeah.
Okay, that's how they sold it to us. So we were listening. I'm like, this is so dope, right? I tell my friend, bruh, are we going to go? We're going to pitch this to our fathers tonight. She goes to home. I go home. I pitch it to my father. My father had a very specific way of, when it's going to be a yes, he says nothing.
Okay.
Just imagine the most military person you can think of, right?
Yes.
He looked at that form and then he put it down and then he said nothing to me and then I must just walk away.
Yeah.
And because it was not a no, I was like, wait.
Yeah.
This seems like it's going to be a yes, right?
Yeah.
And so I then mix it at the time. Mixed it, my friend, I said, Malika.
What is the handle?
CCC.
Typical.
Why is it typical?
Everyone was like either, like, I remember so many like 6cc.
I thought it was special.
Beauty, this.
You volunteered the information so quickly.
Yeah,
No shame.
Can you remember you mix it, man?
Obvious.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Nah, because I know you're going to say it's basic. It was basic. I was Mr. Loverboy. Unfortunately.
Mr. Lover. Really?
Mr. Lover.
JP? Can you remember yours?
Yeah, it's something. I think it was like hazel-eyed something.
Boy!
It was really an
Plenty
opportunity
of
for
strings.
us to be confident.
Plenty of
What we are.
Plenty of strings.
Yeah.
I will say nothing
Wow.
is as embarrassing as that first email address that you made.
Oh, yeah.
Because I took that mixed handle and ran with it because it was Facebook season. So I
Yeah.
only made an email for Facebook.
At Gmail.
But-
Same,
And
same.
I was Zani Armani at gmail.com. Can scarce afford my own clothes, but I'm Armani.
I was Biggie Smalls.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Why did no one help us?
No.
Because we did this behind our
Yeah.
parents' back.
No, I mean, I just tell you, respectfully, my dad created my first email address because I was going to go on this Amsterdam trip.
Okay.
And I needed, they would connect us to the people on the other side. So we did
Okay.
it. And I still have that email address. And yes, it's Yahoo, so don't judge me.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's, there's a
don't-
co.uk. At the end.
.uk,
I
yeah.
still use it to this day.
They didn't discontinue it.
No.
Yeah, okay.
And sometimes I email people from that and then someone
Yeah.
at work
Is it like a
said,
credit score? Why
how
don't
old
you
are
want to
you?
get rid of this?
And I go, why? They say, why are you from the, from the 90s? Why are you using
Time
Yahoo?
traveled.
Anyways.
Yeah, back to the story. So I mixed with my friend. I say, Malika, what's your dad saying? She says, he's looking like he's about to say yes. Okay, so we go back to school. Now we've got two other best friends. We're pitching this idea to them. Guys, if we all four of us can go, this will be,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it will change our lives, right? So my one friend goes, I really won't be able to go. So we go, okay, respectfully. Let's see if we can figure out or sell some more stuff for Coop whatever we need to do. We're gonna back the situation, right? And then my other friend, because comes from she's a single mother, so she also goes, guys, I don't think I'm like, same thing for you. We'll do whatever we need to do. So eventually, my friend from the one that's as a single mother in the house, she gets to go. The other one doesn't. So now we're obviously a bit now three of us goes. It's not liquor, but eventually, she's very encouraging for us to go. So it's the three of us, and then like 5 other people. All of us friends, because we come from the school that's so small. Everyone knows each other really well.
Yeah.
It is the best time of our lives. They having the best time because they already 18.
Oh.
Me?
You were still.
December, baby.
December still
baby.
coming up. But we're in Europe.
Yes.
What you mean?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as 17 and 18. So we get there. And so they matched you up with someone, right? So that's what they did. They swapped the email addresses. Amani, you, and
Yeah.
Hazel Eyes.
Yeah,
Hazel
Then you
Eyes,
get the email, then you must now email the person. So I emailed my guy. His email address was Skaterboy. And I will never forget it because it was like Skater with the 18. Yeah?
Okay.
At Yahoo.
okay.
Yeah. At Yahoo. And I emailed him. I said, hi, whatever. And because it was Skaterboy, I had some sort of like image of what I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
When I get to the airport, so your family's gonna come pick you up, right?
Okay.
We realize it's such a liquor time, you're in the airplane, and then we're gonna get there, and immediately you will split up and go to your host family.
Yeah.
So we get there, and my host family is there, and this guy, he's the eldest, and he's got 2 younger brothers. He's Nana, because they're European. Mickey's, and can't remember the youngest brother, but either the mother's there and the father, and they're all picking me up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, bye. Bye. Okay, I'm leaving. I'm going with them. And so we get to their house, and I think this was my first experience of like culture shock. I've only known what I know.
Yeah.
I have 2 amazing parents. I'm the only child. I don't want to say I get what I want, but I have a privileged situation, right? The first culture shock was I had to get in the car and I sat on the other side passenger, no? I kept feeling like, something's going to happen to me. And then there's like bicycles everywhere and people are walking and the air is so clear. It's the first thing I remember seeing. And we get to the house. And they go, okay, we'll show you where you're going to sleep. I said, okay. Guys, we go upstairs. They open the room. It was blue like this. And there's a bed, single bed, and on the bed there's a mattress. On the floor there's a mattress. And the mother says to me, "This is where you will sleep on the bed, and this is where Nana will sleep on the floor on the mattress." I said, "Ma'am, I do not know your son. In South Africa doesn't work like that. We could have a man and a woman in the same room that are not related." Do you know what I'm trying to say? So they were traumatized. I was traumatized because they were happy with that. They were happy with the strange woman, girl in the same bedroom as their son. It was like so normal there. And then I was, and she saw my face and she said, "Are you uncomfortable?" I said, "I would prefer being alone if there's an option like that." So they put him in a room with his two brothers. And then the second culture shock I had was then immediately put my bags down, went to the toilet, and saw I looked down into the toilet. I was like, "Have you seen it? You know what it looks like?"
No.
Bruh, European toilets. So. But if you look into a South African toilet, there's just a hole.
Yes.
Right? If you look into a European toilet, before the hole, there's a little stage. Like this. And then there's a little drop down like that.
Whoa.
So I go, how? Because I've been on an airplane for a minute. I need to go, number one.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's going to fall on the stage. And then what? Oh, I didn't go poop for 2 days. I didn't go poop for 2 days. And then eventually I didn't have a choice. I was going to die. And then I did. And then I was like, I was finished and I went, how are you going to get into the little hole? I'm so nervous and I'm going to cry because it's not liquor here. And then I flashed it once. Yeah. And the system was designed to then take it down, yeah?
So like transports it down.
Time from the stage and then it falls into this little gap there. I was traumatized, like all hell. And I also, my parents have always been you'll think I'm the only child so that they'll be overprotective, really don't care. My dad is like that. What's that movie from Liam Neeson, Taken? Yeah. Just Khan, you'll be fine because in this world I got you, right? So even if I do not know, I probably know where you are. So there was no way for me to tell them, hey, I landed safely. There was no such, because your phone is not working, whatever. So like 2 days later at that time, they'd hooked me up with a phone, they'd hooked me up with a SIM card, they hooked me up with a TREM card. And then I could finally message my parents and say, hello, I am safe, yo. Y'all don't care. I couldn't even poop. And they wanted to put me in a bed with a man. Then I finally said I'm safe. I don't want a culture shock, bro.
I'm so glad.
That's my favorite story, yeah. Such a good story. It's dramatic.
I didn't know platforms was that.
But culture shock is real.
Yeah,
culture shock is real. We are now, then we went to clubs out there, right? And what you mean we're going to go to the club on a bicycle?
Yeah.
I've got heels on. We're going to the club on 2 wheels.
Yeah. Yep.
And okay, I can imagine going there, but how are we going to come back from the club
on 4 wheels?
And
the one.
You know?
But it's different. Like my sister was in the Netherlands now the last year. And she was an au pair looking after kids there. And the family wanted to like go out for dinner one night. And they obviously, if it's close enough, they take the bicycle.
100%.
So they were like, oh no, it's just like a 50-minute bicycle ride. That's close enough for dinner.
She trapping.
We did a 50 kilometer.
Yeah.
On a random
and
day.
It's like normal. It's like, that's close.
Yeah.
They like, fit, eh?
They will only take a car when it's like over.
Yeah.
Like.
That's why the air is so clean there. There's no real pollution going on.
Yeah.
Because the poop goes.
Yeah.
No, wait. Help me quickly. 50 Ks.
50 Ks. It was from one town to a completely other town.
That's like...
In fact, it was from one town, then we get on a ferry with the bike, and then you get over on the other side with the bike on the ferry. I was like, and because I was 17, I could do it. That's not normal. I would now win a medal if I do that. Like, it would be a race.
I'm looking from here to like Gordon's Bay.
I'm going to say this in case these people are listening to the podcast and watching. On this ride, one of the other girls, her bike broke. So I gave my bike to her and I sat on someone else's bike behind. Diane, bless your heart. Thank you so much. Diane is the OG.
Thank you.
The other thing that's wild for me is that my other friend also lives there. and he's got a bicycle that he rides from his house to the train station, and then from the train station on the other side of town to his workplace. So he's got like 4 bicycles all over the Netherlands.
Oh, that's so cool.
When he takes like,
I would do that.
Yeah,
like I'm just realizing I would do that.
Yeah, it's
they were like steel bikes,
Yes.
but they borrow it.
Yes.
They
I
return it,
was about to say it's a very trustworthy space.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
I
if
said I
I'm
will do
like-
that too soon.
And really, people don't lock their bikes and stuff necessarily because there's just a system of trust.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
I need a bike and there's a bike, I'll take
I'll
it.
take it.
And or you'll take the next person. Like there's just enough
Yeah.
bikes to go around that you don't feel like, oh, you're without when your bike is gone. Every couple of years, they clean the grachten. That's the Dutch word. But they clean the what is it? What is the not Dutch word? But anyway, they clean it and they just take out bicycles.
Yeah.
Are you saying like pavement or sidewalk? What do you say?
It's
No.
the gutters,
The
man.
canals.
The canals.
canals.
That's the word. Sunday.
Namibia.
Yeah, they clean it and they'll just take out bicycles.
So then after the 2 years, Celeste, you went back to go study.
So 2 years. Well, the first year I failed because I was having fun. I was there in entourage, living my best life with a lot of people.
Your
that I
entourage is a throwback.
It really is a throwback from when I was there on Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays. Never took money with me, came home drunk all the time. And that's what I did for the first year. And then I failed the one subject that I was not supposed to go through. So I said, okay, we're going to give you another opportunity. I said, fab. I did the same the next year. I failed that subject, none of the others.
Yeah.
And so finally I was like, okay, I'm done. Stayed at home for a year. And in that time, I had to figure out what was next, right? Because there wasn't a lot of laying down period. It was a difficult year. I would keep myself busy with like the most random things. Because I just also have just a view on life where you can't be bored. Don't ever tell me you're bored. Like unless you know everything that exists in this world, you aren't bored. There's like YouTube, go educate yourself on something or whatever. What I educated myself on that time was lucid dreaming. I started lucid dreaming. I practiced lucid dreaming. It was like a weird experience. And then after that year, I decided to go back and I went to what is now called Academia, an Afrikaans institution. I studied community development, which was the hardest thing ever because it was in Afrikaans. And I'd never studied in tertiary education in Afrikaans. It was hard. I struggled. I cried all the time. My father was a great help. And then after that, I was like, okay, what's next? So I'm going to study through UNISA now. And that was more traumatizing than most things in my life.
Was it just the support or just the lack thereof?
Yeah, the lack thereof. Not in person, not on the phone, nothing.
Yeah.
Right? You are just flying with no assistance.
Yeah.
And yes, sir.
I was gonna say that like you learn very quickly that studying isn't for everyone.
No.
Like just like the act of revising and stuff like that. And like in high school, stuff I guess just made sense. I was lucky, and I'll say lucky, I liked studying.
Really? No, I didn't.
We had this one, I can speak to this. We had this one lecturer. I'm not doing a shout out.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, you
Now
know.
I want to know.
And we doing this. We studied science, and so life science specifically. And so like the information is constantly evolving.
Smart.
The information is constantly evolving because there's like different diseases and treatments and all that different stuff, right? Cool. So anyway, so we're doing this module. I think it was third year, and we're writing a test, and I'm like, bro, where's this work? Who taught us this? Like, what's going on? Because I know I studied everything. What's happening here?
Yeah.
No? Apparently, this teacher had her own textbook that was in like by her cupboardie.
Yeah.
That she just said
Not the
tests from.
prescribed textbook for this semester.
We've never seen. Yeah.
Because we have this thing like if you go to university and the lecturer is saying what is on the notes, I'm not coming to class.
Because you could have done that by yourself, yeah.
I'm not coming to class. Conversely, if a lecturer doesn't have any lecture slides and everything he's saying is, I'm sitting there early. I'm there. So anyway, so then what I ended up doing was, because I was like, I'm not going out like this. I'm not going out like this. I want an A for this module, please and thank you.
Sure.
Literally made myself tasty by the library. What follow are we?
Like 6 or
Yeah, like no,
4. 9.
Oh, wow.
Were you in the right place?
Yeah,
No.
I
Because six was the computers. 6 was the computers.
You set up shop there, you say.
Yeah, it was 9 or 11, one of the two. I know it was one of those. Anyway, so not just set up shop. I was like, okay, cool. This is where she must have gotten her information from.
Oh, so you
all that volume 2s, 3s, that early editions.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I was passionate.
Yeah.
I judged you.
I don't think
I judged you early. Like, from the moment he said science, my mouth dropped. Like, you're so smart. I didn't think you're not smart. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. But I thought you were more like in a sports direction.
Oh, I have,
He is also though.
Yeah, I think you can say I have a range. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
I don't have a range.
Yeah, even me.
Because I would actually say I'm more creative.
Yeah, that's why I didn't think science.
Yeah, I know, but I'm also a massive nerd. I'm a massive science, and I'm very like analytical and stuff like that. Yeah, that's
good
me.
for you. I just studying every second.
Yeah. So
You see,
so diverse.
Did you hear him say I have to get an A? I was like, I'm just happy with when I'm passing. What you mean an A?
I used to this is one thing I say. I used to hear some of these like other science, like crude science, like they're studying math or studying physics. Then they're busy munging because like the lecturer will come in, listen, only 20% of you will pass this course. And I'm like, I don't want to be in that class. I want you must bleed for your degree. Someone must like die for this
was
degree.
Was that
That's
natural for you, or was it that like kind of embedded into you from like
I don't know.
Parents?
Maybe it was the thing that I was youngest born, so I had to fight for everything. Maybe it was that. Maybe it was that. I don't know.
No.
Oh wow.
But you just did very well. You know, you got accepted for medicine and didn't even study medicine. You know how difficult it is to get into medicine.
I do.
And you got accepted. You didn't even care. You didn't care.
So when you
we are not deflating. Dr. JP.
So what made you go behind the mic?
Even his wife had to graft to get into medicine, and he got accepted.
Easy. Why did you decide not to?
Because I didn't feel for me, I needed to. Medicine's the type of profession you need to be passionate about.
100%.
So I didn't have that passion for medicine. So I didn't see myself.
A balance between the brain and the passion, and you. Okay.
Correct.
Fair.
Because you can't be in a space like that. And not want to help someone.
100%. Zero.
So even though I got in, it wasn't something that I was going to then. Because the university that I applied to, you needed to do one in each faculty. That you couldn't send an application.
Okay.
So like
options.
Even if let's say I wanted to do a BCom and like a business science at UCT, I couldn't apply for both. I had to apply one in this faculty, and then one in engineering, and then one in
crazy
medicine.
work. Okay.
But I got accepted for his second choice.
But that's why
I barely had a first choice. I never knew what I wanted to do with my life. Oh, that's insane.
No, but I mean, I was like Rizal mentioned, I was one of those kids that good at maths, good at physics. So you must do one of those law, accounting.
I'm so intimidated. I'm sitting amongst smart people.
So then what, again, I'm going to ask my question now in a clearer manner.
I know
what made you go behind the mic?
So I studied, then I went to UNISA, right? But now I'm studying through UNISA. Now you've got more free time because it's distance learning. And I'm at home, and I got a friend at the time. He messages me, he says, listen, the campus radio station in Stellenbosch, the one in the Nielsen, MFM, they've got intakes, right? They do it twice a year. I really think you should be doing this. I'm thinking, joyous smile. Like, no ways. Because he wants to do it, but he wants to be on the technical side of things. So I'm like, nah, brah, that's totally you. I'm not going to lie. At this time, I had like a small crush on him. And so I was like, no. And then he kept asking me. And I said no every time. And then he ended up going himself, right? He was there for like 6 months. And then before the new recruits were supposed to come in, he said, I've been here for 6 months. I think it's great. I still think you must come. So then I did it to shut him up. Okay. Right? I was like, I'm going to do it. And shut up. So I go send them the email. I am interested. I wasn't really interested. I was like, yeah, I'm interested. And then I get an email back. They're like, we're inviting you for an interview. So there's like a long interview process. Did it. Then you come back for a mock show, whatever. And then they choose like, I think 12 or 15 people to be part of the program for that next 6 months before you eventually join. There, I'm somewhere in the top 15 a lot. Sheesh. I don't know how I got there because I faked the whole thing. Like, I don't know, like, I was just having fun. Made the top 15 and they chose the top 15. We sat down at the table and they said, okay, from left to right, tell us who you are and what are you going to do with this platform? And I stood up and I went, hi, my name is Celest Anthony. I would like to work for Good Hope FM.
Wow.
I know. And then we went down the line and the guy that I would end up being very close to in my training group, he stood up like very far from me and he said, hi, I'm so-and-so and I really like to work for Supersport. And I can confirm that he works for Supersport today.
Let's go.
And it's one of our favorite things to ever. Like last night.
Can we do this exercise?
Last night, I don't know, sport, help me. What is happening now, Premier League?
Champions League.
Champions League, right? So he does Champions League on Supersport. And then last night I was in studio and he was on TV and it's like the biggest moment for me. Either way, so I was at MFM. I had the benefit of, because at campus radio stations, people stay for 5 years, 7 years, nothing happens. And if you're lucky, maybe you get called up. But I had the benefit of a lot of the people at MFM at the time were students. And so when holidays roll around, they go back home.
Yeah.
I stay in Stellenbosch. So I'd go, no, I'll do JB shift. I'll do the dance shift also. It's like one shift apart. So I'm there. I'm getting in more hours than the rest of the people.
Reps.
And they know they can count on me. And so I'm honing my skill faster than the rest of the people because I'm just bored, I suppose, and available. And I was there. I did the first year, I did a lunch show. The second year, I did a lunch show. And in that second year of my lunch show, so I was there about like a year and 7 months. My program manager at the time, Luwazi, who walks in the middle of my show, which you never do, and he hands me a paper like that, like a small papiertje, like folded up just like this.
Sure.
And
Same now.
He gives it to me. I go, what is this? He says, read it. And then he walks out and I open it and it just says a name on a number and he goes, you need to call Good Hope. Right? And then he leaves. Now I still do the rest of the show. What you be doing? Bro. I'm not ready because what people do in these spaces is in commercial, in campus spaces is they do demos, right? And then you send it off to all the station managers and you never hear back, whatever. I was not ready for commercial station. I was not there yet, so I had never sent out a demo yet. I just felt like it wasn't my time. And so my show was done and I went into what we call the back office, which is where we sat in prep. And I put in the guy's number. Hi, Gerard. And the guy on the other end said, hi, my name is Gerard.
You need to do an auto Stellenbosch photo.
So you see what Stellenbosch does, eh? Like, Gerard. And then Gerard, on the other phone, I said, listen, I've been listening to you for 2 weeks or more. I really like what I'm hearing. Do you want to come in for just a chat about like where your head is at, in terms of radio and like what do you want to do for this, with this going forward? I said, okay, cool. I walked in for my chat. And there was like 5 people around the table. Yeah. And I sat down and the chat, everyone asked a question. It was like a discussion. And I went, sorry, is this an interview? And they said, it might be. And then, it was a great chat. And when they said, do you have any questions? I said, yeah. Do I have a job here now?
Do you like me?
Do you like? Yeah, because I was not confident when I walked in. But then when I left, I was like, do I have a job now? And then, the station manager at the time, God rest his soul, Brendan Fix at the time, he said, well, he likes you already, pointing to the program manager. And then but also what happened the day before I went, at the time it was called the Liberty Radio Awards. The nominations came out and I was on the nomination list for my lunch show at MFM. So I was like, great, I'm going to walk into that conversation and I get to say I'm a Liberty Radio Award nominee. And so I did. Not that I think it mattered because they'd already invited me for that thing. So when I walked out, they said, you'll probably hear from me in a couple of days. And then 2 days later, I got an email to say, we want to offer you a contract.
That you felt you weren't ready, but the Lord had other plans for you.
But and I now understand these things. Because at the time, even if the Lord thought I was ready and I walked in, I still didn't understand. Yeah. But only later years now, I get it. I understand it,
No, that is great.
Yeah,
I think sometimes even we can be our own worst enemies.
Oh, yeah.
Because we don't feel we worthy of that.
Imposter syndrome.
And then we end up in those spaces and then you look at like, but why am I here?
Yeah, that's how I felt because Good Hope FM was my station growing up. So now suddenly I'm sitting next to people that I would listen to on my way to school. I would listen to, in the morning on my way to high school, I would listen to Nigel Pierce. And glory, Man United. Yeah, the back, right? You know, those are the people I listen to on radio, and suddenly I walk into the good times when it was still good. So kind. Yeah, and so I would, that's what I would listen to. And so suddenly I'm in the space with these people, and I have no idea how I landed up here, and I'm faking it like literally every day through the day because I have no idea what I'm doing here. Like, why have you instilled all this trust you should not have? And when Guru puts you on a bigger starter show, if you had experience before. And so they did, like, my first show was 9 to 12 o'clock on a Sunday. And it went so well that the next day I got a Saturday and a Sunday show. And I was only on those weekends. I was 2 years, and then I was moved to weekday lineup. And it's been great. It's been 8 years now.
What's
Thank you, Rizal.
We don't have the buttons, but we'll clap there. So what? Because you also recently hosted a masterclass.
I did, yeah.
What's it about the medium that keeps you so passionate and invested?
Yeah. First time I saw you, at my time at MFM, I also became the training facilitator. So then I was the person recruiting the new people, training them and stuff like that. And so I've always, I don't like teaching necessarily, but I like teaching radio. Because we need to be an understanding of whatever our craft is, people will come after us. As much as we like to think we will be here forever. My notion is, if someone is better than me, I am happy to step away, because it is not, my job is not ego driven, as much as it's very easy to fall into that trap, but it's not ego driven for me. I love radio, right? And I love people. And so we need to put the best person in the position to do good radio and to do good to the people. And if I think I'm doing a good job right now. If I drop it right now, who's going to do it?
Yeah.
Right. And the question you often get asked in the world of radio is, how do I get into radio? And there's literally no one straight answer. No two people have the same story, right?
Wow.
There's no college, there's no varsity, there's no nothing that you can go to, study radio and walk into a commercial station.
Yeah.
So I get these emails all the time. I get this question all the time. And so I do privately teach, but if you don't know, you don't know that I privately teach, right? So I pitched the idea of the masterclass 2 years ago to Good Hope FM. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right climate. Yes, I was disappointed that they didn't jump onto it immediately, but it wasn't the time. Yeah. And in the beginning of the year, when they said, listen, we're ready to go, you run this, let's see what happens. It was so important to me, because now I'm saying, hey, here's your answer.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a thing where you come to learn about either presenting, producing, whatever field of radio you want to be in. And when you walk away, we say, here's a certificate. So that when you pitch yourself to program managers, you're not a clean slate. You go, hey, I did this. Not only as a piece of paper, but also I'm showing you that I'm trying to do things to follow my dreams.
Yeah.
And I'm serious about it.
So we kind of grew up in the time of color, race, and even patriarchy changes and all that stuff. Where we are now in 2025, is the space still dictated by that tokenism, or is it now a meritocracy? Is it what's the space like now that you've been in this radio business?
When you say space, do you mean this as in from a presenter?
Presenter, media, radio, yeah.
Okay, so also at Good Hope FM, it excites me because we are the station that I had the first person of color on radio, right?
Yeah.
Right, the Meaty J Girls. Exciting. So I was like, I looked at that the other day again, and where we have gone from there. And I had an interesting conversation with one of my colleagues the other day that said, because it's very easy, we are stamped with Good Hope FM is the colored radio station, right? Because essentially maybe we are, or we were.
Yeah.
We are definitely moving away from that. Yeah. We are merging.
Yeah.
Where we have...
I feel that. I can't
Do you feel it?
Yeah.
And I had this conversation yesterday with one of my colleagues. He's a black male, right? And he's saying, Celeste, I feel like we're in a space now more than ever that we're doing this.
Yeah.
And he asked me, are you feeling it too, or am I being stupid?
Yeah.
I was like, nah, I feel it too.
That's how I asked the question.
Yeah.
But I will say this also. You must remember within the SABC and all those radio stations, we are still guided by certain... We have 18 radio stations, one for each language.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that you will find there won't be a white person at Umhlobo.
Yeah.
Be realistic about that.
Yeah.
But you have more leeway with stations like Good Hope FM and 5FM.
Yeah, but I think also for me, the reason why I want to bring attention to a masterclass or something like that is because, to your point, you grew up with Nigel Pierce in the mornings, right? We need to find our voice like that. Yeah. We need to find a voice that someone now gets to listen to and grow up with.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important that we also have these, because there are like GOAT radio people in Cape Town that you, like, if I tell my daddy what you listen to Aiden Thomas in the morning.
Yes.
And like, those are the types of things. But we also need one for us.
Yes.
We need one that our kids will be like, okay, I listen to this person. And it's quite cool because I think it's, by doing this, you're not saying go and do it. Yeah. But you're planting the seed
of course,
that you have the ability to do.
I'm going to say this, as much as that is great, you must also understand that your parents come from a generation where Aiden Thomas was the only person that they, you understand what I mean? There wasn't a GenC podcast to listen to too. There wasn't Spotify to do too. There was only that radio and that person of color, and they were doing a phenomenal job at that. Now, the industry is saturated with a lot of mediums. And so I do not necessarily think that a 7-year-old is going to go, oh my gosh, Celeste Anthony. And I've been listening to her for the last 10 years. They will know you and they will respect you and respect your craft, but you won't become this idol that it was back in the day. The way I had idolized Nigel Pierce, the way I was, oh my gosh, is this what he actually looks like in real life? That was shocking. Like, because you didn't know what they looked like. You did idolize them. Now, again, with social media, I'm on TikTok. I let you into my entire life. Like, it's not, you don't idolize the people that much. You don't, you know?
As someone who was like fangirled in real life, it could happen. Like, it happened to me, and I, like, people don't know my name. They call me podcast guy. I was with my girlfriend in Cleats, and someone asked me for a picture.
No, they will still recognize you. They'll still recognize you. People will recognize you. They'll take photos. But it's not, like I'm saying, with what you were saying, it's not
to that degree.
The one voice that has carried me for my entire primary school, high school, into university life.
Touche. My pushback is simply just that, like, not trying to minimize, because I think that, like, yes, the media is saturated. Yes, there's a lot of voices, but the fact that there's a lot means that it's now easier for everyone to find their person that they can resonate with.
Oh, fair. Fair. Yeah.
Find someone for them.
Good point.
Yeah.
Find someone for you.
Hey, yo.
I love GenC. They're laughing, but let them tell you, when I met them for the first time, say I was excited. Was I not excited?
You were excited.
Thank you.
But we were very...
we were like, Vasos, no.
I remember first meetings, and they weren't very excited to see me, but like, I'm not gonna lie, y'all were very... But I was excited. I was like, what you guys talk about?
Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't know who you were. I still remember. Oh, can I confess this? It actually feels bad.
You said, Visdi.
No. It was like, we said, no, we must get her on. We must get, but like, who is she again?
Yeah, but that happens. It happens to me all the time.
But I'm actually glad that you are here. So
he's not, he's lying. Thank you, JB, for inviting me. Anyway, so...
she got the memo. She actually got the memo. Can I just say now, the time is moving now. We still didn't talk about the fact that your brain works in 2 languages. Oh. And we're just not going to get there. We're not going to get there.
I'm sorry. I was telling Rizwan earlier that because I was born Afrikaans, but I work in English and I studied in English. I often tell people that maybe are not bilingual, that my English personality and my Afrikaans personality are 2 different people. And then they laugh it off. But I was recently affirmed by none other than Trevor Noah. He mentioned it in a podcast because you learn the second language later in life when your personality is set in a certain way.
Wow.
Yeah, so I find that the 2 people are 2 different people.
Because the spirit of this is that, like, I have JP has Afrikaans speaking parents, but they raised us in English, so now we can't speak either language. Where I echo what you were saying, but it's so bad is that my handwriting for English and my handwriting for Afrikaans is too different.
That's a bit crazy.
Are you serious?
Wow. So different. It's different.
So you could write ransom notes.
Possible.
And they won't get you.
Yeah, that's wild.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah.
I didn't
Do you
know
want
that
to
was
show it to us?
possible, my bro.
Show it to us, please. Show
No,
it
you
to
won't
us.
be able to make it out. I think you have better luck with Afrikaans.
And that, ladies and gentlemen,
I mean,
is
if
my
I give
friend,
you
JB.
an Afrikaans word now, I won't be able to spell it. Will you? Okay, let's do it. Get the paper in front of you.
Yeah, he has a paper there.
Let's do immediately and then let's do onmiddellik.
Okay.
I just was on the top of my head. For the English word, not even the Afrikaans word. Onmiddellik.
Okay.
I'm writing it faster. I'm actually writing it faster.
That could be a thing too, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Hey?
I thought it was once going to be cursive. I'm not going to lie.
No.
Yeah, I
So
also thought it was going to be answer.
no, it's similar. But
It was
like,
giving Bridget
I
the-
literally, I caught myself. I write
Like,
Afrikaans
Faster.
faster.
Okay, let's see.
Let's
No.
see.
That does look
No,
similar.
yes,
Oh, okay.
I actively
Theory
started
didn't
writing
hold
it
up.
separately.
But we respect you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
So if I must write like
yeah,
a opschrift,
I also feel that.
Yeah.
a brief, I must write one of those like what's it? Contract. What's it? Long contractual
Yo.
and short contractual piece, man.
Sure.
Because you remember we used to write in English for paper 3. It was an essay plus long contractual piece. And short contractual piece. Do you not remember this?
No, I mean,
This was longer ago. For
Informal,
me and for you.
like a
Yeah.
formal letter.
Formal writing
and
and
then
informal.
Informal
yeah,
writing,
there
yeah.
we go.
But it was a cool
Formeel and
contractual and
informal.
non-contractual.
No, it wasn't called formal and informal. It was literally called long contractual. Then you would write like a letter, and then the short
It's
contractual would be like
giving
a
T's and
diary
C's
entry
applied.
or an advert or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Do you not
I
remember
see.
this? You threw away
I know.
English.
Yeah, no. But again, me
So
and
many years
me and
ago.
English were never
I work in education.
collaborating. That's why I started the podcast. But I don't think we can move on. I really want to take some time, if you don't mind,
Yes.
Celeste. Creating a space where we celebrate good colored role models. And for me, one of that was your father.
Yeah.
Because I think there's so many spaces where we get told that we're not doing right or we're not doing this right. And I really want to take some time just to highlight that what an amazing person your dad was. Because, like you said, he was in the military. He had its quirks. He couldn't necessarily say no immediately. And I think to his credit, that is very military-esque.
Yeah.
They absorb, they stand still,
100%.
and then
They process.
they process, and then they. But he always tried his best, and I think you also look fondly in your couch sessions when you're sitting watching the movies.
That's getting wild.
And I think that no one will ever be able to replace Papi's girl.
Yeah.
But it is important to know that I actually want to take the time to celebrate people like that.
Thank you so much.
Because I think there's too many spaces where we don't highlight that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Not a guy for the media at all. Would hate that is being discussed. But that really is my way of celebrating him and who he was. Because we do have difficulty, I think, especially I think we give credit to each other easier now. But sometimes in your household, it's still awkward.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
That's so weird. And so I could go back now and say I regret not saying a bunch of things, right? But then if you take me back, I still wouldn't do it. Because that was not our relationship. That was not how, like, it wasn't lovey-dovey like that, right? But I knew I was loved fiercely.
Wow.
And my dad was busy dying. On his deathbed, I said, it's your fault I'm single because you were so great. Like, and as much as it's a joke, it's the truth. My dad was always very much an example, caught not taught person, right? It was never Celeste, we don't do that.
So here,
Oh, you didn't catch on.
Caught, not taught.
He
no,
was-
I heard it, but I'm like,
Yeah.
say
So
more.
you never ever, and I think it's such a common thing within Canada households, ons doen nie dit nie. Ons sê dit so, ons doen it so. Like never, it was never said to me. Never. My father led by example every single day. I didn't see him fault. I didn't see him ever slip up as a colored man, right? And so I caught those lessons, but it was never physically given to me and taught in that way.
That's a clip, guys.
And so the greatest example. And sometimes we know our parents, but we only know when you were born or when you got verstand.
Yes.
But then you'll sit at their funerals and they will go person after person after person after person will go up. and say things, and it will affirm what you know or either give you more information that you've never known. And I think at funerals, sometimes people do say things that are not true because that's just the space, because you got to say good things. But there are people that emailed me, people that were sitting in discussion with me to make me understand the greatness that was my father. And so sometimes, like, I think there are views of grief and people think that I'm not grieving correctly, but I don't know how to explain to people that I am in constant state of celebrating the man that I was lucky enough to have as a father. That didn't necessarily want to have children because he came from a sibling line of like 13 or whatever. But then got me, and it was like he was born to be a father. And so it's lotto. Lotto. Zero childhood trauma. So thank you.
Izan, what do you have there?
We have games to play.
Beautiful segue.
But like I actually want to stay like a little.
Same.
Like you said, like colored role models. And I think it was so interesting that you said that now, but I'm still caught, not taught. Because I get frustrated when you don't explain stuff to me.
Oh, sorry.
No. Like
you mean in general?
In general.
Okay.
Because my dad was like that. He would lead by example, and it's making me appreciate my father a little bit more because he is a great example.
Yeah.
And just like, thank you again, JP. Thank you so much for doing that for us.
I mean, it's not like you don't pay me.
Okay, so the first game we're gonna play, this is actually a design invention.
Oh,
It's called the Quizler.
the Quizler.
The Quizler, yeah. So how it works is, I give you 3 words, and you figure out what's the category.
Okay.
Okay. Lyle, you playing with?
Yeah.
People in the chat.
You just want to
playing
give an
with?
explanation of like a category.
Oh
like an
yeah.
example.
So like for example,
You don't have to mansplain.
the Buttercup, Blossom, and Bubbles.
Powerpuff Girls.
Exactly, perfect. You
I
got
get
it.
very competitive now. I'm going to lose just because I said that.
Okay. So,
Did you disclose that it gets like more difficult?
Oh, yeah.
as
You
we
I was
go?
about to say, is it that easy?
Because I'm asking,
I was
is it one of
literally
those?
about to say those words.
Sorry.
I was literally
Can I
about.
answer in Afrikaans?
Yes,
My English brain doesn't work.
absolutely.
Okay,
I was
okay.
about to explain that like
Okay.
there's 3 ones that are like relatively easy and there's 2 that's
Because you also don't know
challenging.
which personality knows the answer.
And I try and yeah.
Is
and
he in this game?
Yes.
Okay.
We
Are we competing?
actually,
oh, wait.
yeah.
Are we competing?
What are
'Cause
we-
all 3 of you are kind of
Okay.
playing,
It feels
yeah.
like Lal and I need to be on a team.
No,
Celest is on our
don't
own.
leave me.
Actually, no, all of these are difficult. I'm just gonna let's see.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, Simpson, Alba, and Beale.
Jessica.
Yeah.
I'm nervous.
We are named Jessica. Excellent. Jasmine, Oolong, and Ceylon.
Disney princesses.
No.
Oh,
It's T.
No, it's tea.
No.
Types of tea.
When you said oolong, when you said oolong, I was
Do you
like,
know what it of Mulan?
That's me actually.
Oolong.
Yeah.
I wanted there to be some subterfuge. Okay. Ooh, okay, now it's getting a bit
I mustn't look at you.
Ludo,
I really don't know.
Craps, and Yahtzee.
It's Japanese games.
Not Japanese.
It might be. I don't know everything about these games.
Ludo,
Asian.
Yats, and Craps.
Yahtzee.
Yahtzee. But it is game. It's games, right?
Yeah.
But that's
But
not
I
the
like-
category.
It's a specific.
It's a
There we
specific
go.
category of
There we
games.
go. There we go. Now it's
Isn't
getting
it like-
woozy in the comments.
Help me.
Me.
I can't.
So I'll give you this clue.
Yes.
So like for example, poker, blackjack, and roulette are games at the casino.
Yes.
Or, yeah, you know.
So these are games that.
And then but poker, blackjack, and claverjas are games with cards.
These are games with tiles.
Yeah.
No?
It's not table.
Ludo, craps,
not
and
table
It's with
Yahtzee.
those
It's-
round thingies, man.
It's a little bit more obvious than that.
I'm feeling-
It's on a board.
I'm so disappointed.
No, it can't be
disappointed in
just
the two of
Disappointed
them.
in 2 of us.
I'm very disappointed. I'm also looking at you when you're helping me.
Like I was trying to find the clue though.
Go again. Say the,
Not Cluedo, Ludo.
Ludo.
It
Yeah,
uses
yeah.
those coin tiles, man.
No,
Okay.
games with dice.
Oh my
Oh,
word.
So the
Oh.
functional aspect of the game is specifically dice.
Okay.
Could I say slangetjies,
Slangetjies.
slangetjies?
No, but then
Fair.
that would have been like a board.
Yeah.
too easy.
Then that would have been a
And
board.
it's
No,
getting
you're
more
right.
difficult from this point on.
Yeah.
Now I'm nervous.
Siberia, Poland, and Moldova.
It's cold.
USSR. They were all in the Soviet Union.
Quick with it.
May I say the subject I failed was history? Possibly so. That's why I didn't know that.
Also, there's geography.
Geography.
No, actually, no, you're
That's
right.
history,
You're right.
man.
You're right.
That's
You're right.
history.
USSR, Soviet
Mm.
Union. You're right.
Easy
You're right.
history,
You're right.
bro. Come
That's
on.
social
Thank you.
studies. Here we
Come
go.
on.
Okay, the last one is the tough one, but maybe you're gonna get it. I believe.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Ganymede, Io, and Europa.
Yo.
Ganymede,
Ayo.
You know, I actually forgot what these are.
Oh my god! Not the games master.
No.
I was
Yeah,
also thinking
stones.
it's the first one.
When you
it's
said the
Ganymede.
first one,
Yeah.
the first one gives stones.
It
but
gives
no.
stones.
But
The
then
second
you
two-
Oh yeah, okay, I got it.
The second two.
Yeah, these are. This is for the comments. Like this is straight
Okay.
to YouTube in the
Okay.
comments.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
because you
Good
guys
luck.
can guess, but like I was
won't
like,
be
nah,
right.
I'm betraying you.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Hopefully
yeah.
someone that knows that.
I'll step
No,
up.
no, wait. Like try.
Do you want to
I
give us a
did.
clue?
I said stones, but it's not. You said no stones.
The clue is think astronomy.
Oh.
Yo,
Is it like not nebulas?
Ooh,
Sir.
who would know that?
What do you,
there's solar systems.
it could
on
be
there.
maybe.
Oh.
No. Right.
Okay. I don't know how you guys play games, but
Yeah.
like I like to build knowledge. I'm like, what do I already know?
Yeah.
And how do I build from there? That's how I
Okay.
play games.
I,
So what do you already
Yeah,
know?
about
You know what
astrology.
about astronomy? You know
Stars.
stars, but you don't actually know the stars.
Yeah.
What do you actually know?
Planets.
Planets.
Yeah.
Good. There we go.
Yeah.
So think planets and think what about those planets?
Is it the
dwarf planets.
Is it-
Are these dwarf planets?
Ooh,
Am I
that-
closer?
I like that, but it's not that.
Is it like the names
Dwarf
of the moons of
stars.
certain planets?
Ooh, Wolsey!
What did you
Okay.
say? What did, we
Womsy.
weren't paying attention. What were you saying?
Moons of certain planets. So like
Wormsy. Because it's crazy that we have one moon and we call it the moon, but other
But
planets
yeah.
have like.
is it like the name of Jupiter's moons?
Yeah.
Because I know Jupiter has a lot of moons.
Like
You
50
know I'm gonna
something.
go do some research when I get home just to check.
Just to check.
Jupiter.
That's
Ganymede,
fine.
Io, and Europa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you so much for playing.
Well done.
You know
Thank
what?
you.
Looking at Jupiter through like a really high powered telescope was one of like the best experiences of my life.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Insane.
And we studied the same thing, by the way. That's a nerd coded.
Yeah. I love being
You see
in
it
here.
now.
Yeah.
I'm getting smarter. Go on.
The second game we like to play is actually a game that we've become quite notorious. So it's the game from the bowl. A series of hypothetical questions. And we
And
call
it's
this
called
game
Say
Say
Man
Man
Now.
Now.
Let's
Let's
go.
That was so good. This is not the number for Good Up FM, but yeah.
Disclaimer is vital.
Say Man Now, your emotional support pet
Oh God.
could be an animated animal from a movie, series, or anime.
Or like a fictional character.
What would you choose?
Like, who would you want to be your emotional?
Emotional support animal.
I couldn't tell you why. The first thought in my brain was Pikachu, and then I would imagine saying Pikachu the whole time. That stressed me out more. Why was that? My first thought. That's so weird. Because I thought animal, a creature.
Yeah.
Okay, then it would probably be. Why am I thinking of? I'm thinking of stupid stuff because I wanted to say Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
That's also
That's a
stupid.
W
That's
answer.
also
That would be so
stupid.
chaotic.
That's a W
man.
answer though. Yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
that's not.
It's
It's
like
not.
a Jack Russell.
He literally has one of those.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
Respectfully,
Bo.
Bo
Yeah.
is older now.
Okay, wait. Did you say it has to be an animal?
Bo is my Labrador dog. No, it's fictional characters.
So it can be a person, fictional person.
Nah,
No,
this would be a
no,
creature.
must
at
be
least.
an
It'll be-
animal.
But let's
Must be
hear
an
what your
animal.
answer would have
I
been.
would say Rick.
animal.
Oh, for
Pickle Rick. Okay, that's me. Pickle Rick. Pickle Rick. That's my final answer.
As an
Pickle Rick.
emotional pit.
That's hectic.
It'll
That's
solve all
decent.
my problems.
That's decent.
The mammoth from Avatar is Up, right? Or what's his name? Upper.
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
bison.
Lost
the
Airbender.
bison. The flag
Oh,
bison.
Oh, yeah.
The flag
Okay.
bison. I
That's
like
that's
Opera.
dope.
He's,
That's a good
Wow.
one.
That's
he's,
a-
he's,
he's
he's
a
a
real
real
one.
one.
He's a real G.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
I can't think of any other one. I'm going to drive home and then I'm going to go, I should have.
And you know, it's crazy that we've watched so many movies with animals, and I'm like,
which one?
Why am I thinking of Dory? Dory's gonna forget me, bro.
100%. 100%.
Ooh.
Okay.
The turtle family.
Nah. Enough. Timon and Pumbaa.
Brilliant.
It's a combo though.
Yes,
I love
this.
Is that your go-to song for them?
That would be so good.
Mine is, I don't know what's happening. Then you say, what?
Yeah, that's so good.
They don't have a clue.
Watch the movie now.
That's brilliant.
I love that movie.
Oh
I'm
my
happy.
gosh.
I'm happy I got that answer.
That was
Then we
great.
could have that now.
Yeah.
Time. You know what I'm saying? That's you. Do you mind, Gracie?
Apologies for that.
Apologize.
No,
for
don't
this.
apologize.
This is Rizan's English handwriting.
All right. Let's see. Same now. The only way to charge your phone would be to play an old school cell phone game. Oh, Lord. What game is going to charge your phone?
Firstly, great question. Wow.
Oh, I know mine.
But I think change it a little bit.
Okay.
Any cell phone game.
Okay.
Because
Not from yesteryear.
we
only.
might give the same answer, man.
Okay.
Oh, you're gonna go snake.
You
Or
see,
something,
we might do.
I was not
No,
gonna
but
say
like,
snake.
It can be like even from high school, bro. Like, do you remember like that Prince of Persia game? And
So-
Splinter Cell on the
Yeah,
cell phone was insane.
so just because of my efficiency at the time, I would say Fruit Ninja.
Oh.
Okay.
That was all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
screen,
yeah.
no screen
Quite.
protector was tough enough to
That was dope.
to get through that. So I would
cuts.
Oh, that's cool.
What did you guys also like participate in that whole temple run subway stuff?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That
High
was a
scores.
wild. That was a wild space.
Yours?
So I was gonna say 2 Dots is the game, but I realized that's a bit new.
Oh, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, it's
I was never.
it's very autistic. Like it's very,
Okay.
it's very. You just mix 2 colors together. It's,
okay.
one of those. But if in the spirit of being classic,
Yeah.
Tetris.
Tetris.
Okay.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You wouldn't try Minesweeper?
No, I could play Minesweeper. You know what's
Minesweeper
funny?
was fun, bro.
You know what's crazy is that like I was always
Is
terrible at
Minesweeper the one with the
Minesweeper.
blocks that
The
you just...
blocks,
I have no idea
yeah.
what happens there.
I
just click
was
on
always
stuff.
terrible now. And then the same person that like helped me hone my clever jazz skills at university
Yeah.
taught me Minesweeper.
Oh, I love it.
And I'm like, that made me like realize I'm totally getting a degree in the cafeteria.
Was this UWC?
It was.
Yeah.
I believe
The words that's coming out,
Yeah.
the cover jazz, and the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have an MCAF.
Yeah.
A master's. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Because I understand the lingo. As
Yeah.
I was shook. You know what I'm saying?
Ook pipe in die boot. That's what I know from UWC.
Slechts as blanke man is boer. What's your...
I missed out on a cultural experience by not going to UWC. I should have. My game, Bounce.
Oh, I like
Remember
Bounce.
Bounce?
Bounce was.
I was brilliant at
Such a good
Bounce.
game,
Ain't gonna
bro.
lie.
Mm.
I was really good at Bounce. When the ball goes invisible, brah.
I see it.
Me, I'm the one.
My brain is I know this game, but I can't picture
Bounce,
it.
you can't remember Bounce.
The,
It's like an orange
Nokia,
ball.
It's,
the Nokia game.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Yes.
ball.
You know what's gonna
Pop, pop.
happen? The same way that like she said her name earlier, not before we started recording.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know this person. I must see the face.
Yeah.
So I must see
It's
the
like
game's
when
face.
color
no, no, no.
screens just
Yeah, you must
started.
see.
know
You must see
the
the
game.
3520. the
I
one
know
that,
the game
yeah,
now.
yeah.
I must
Okay,
just
okay.
see the face.
You must just see the- yeah, yeah.
I'm one of those.
Okay,
Oh,
no, face.
okay.
Ik ken vir hom, my.
Maar by schoolfoto.
There we go. My schoolfoto. There we go. Thank you.
Pretend like I'm not offended that you didn't know who I was. That's why I'm drifting this way on the table the
We
whole
developed
time.
so much rapport, and now it's like,
all thrown out the window.
yeah.
In high school, you were Sony Ericsson.
Oh
type of boy,
wow.
weren't
What was your first phone?
It's giving JP Jackson.
No,
The
I
way
just
you
know
go
this
in there,
about you.
it's giving no like
The
'cause
way,
that's- the way this man just knows stuff.
Yeah.
No, because
Yeah.
Rizan is a thing of brand loyalty, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
So
So like when
Yeah.
you, yeah.
What was your first phone?
A Walkman.
What?
Okay, no, don't
No.
do that. Please
What
don't
was
do
your
that.
first phone then?
So I think my first phone that I could actually like
Yeah,
Same
own
as yours.
would probably be the 3210.
A Nokia.
Yeah, so not the 3310, the
one
other
with-
3210.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it the older one or the newer one?
So it was I think it was like the cheaper one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like,
Was it
but
the
you
one-
couldn't build a house with it. Like
Yeah,
you couldn't.
yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't
Okay.
cement
Oh,
bricks.
okay.
But the hand-me-downs was an Alcatel.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Everyone had that.
That's-
My first was a Sagem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a Siemens.
Yes, I was-
Yeah, Siemens.
That's crazy.
That's-
Wasn't
that's
Siemens
niche.
and Alcatel were together at first, right? So it was a
Wow.
Siemens
Yes,
Alcatel, and then
yes.
they split up into
Yeah.
Okay.
And yours,
Yeah.
uncle?
V360.
Yeah.
And
Yours, you got a
Razer.
phone late.
Razer.
Yeah,
No,
I
no,
didn't
no,
get-
no,
yeah, I
no,
didn't
no.
get-
That's not the Razer. V360 is the public phone, the one that's black and gray.
Oh yes. Okay.
They called it that was OG public
Yeah.
phone.
Okay.
But like my
yeah.
first decent phone was a Nokia N70, I think.
First decent phone is a different conversation.
Yeah.
First decent phone
Yeah,
is
decent one is a different.
Because
what
that
I
was
did-
the phone that I played
That's,
Splinter
what's the
Cell and all
Samsung
that.
E250.
Ooh.
No, the
E250.
one with the speaker. The
E250.
camera with the speaker. No, it's a D500. The D500. The D500 came from a speaker, and I remember the songs that came out the time
Yep.
was.
Timberland the way off.
Oh wait! Oh no! I already forget.
It was like if you had a D500 or a Walkman
You're
back
beautiful.
in those days.
Michael, not Michael Bublé. Who's that guy that sings?
Yes.
James Blunt.
Blunt.
James Blunt.
Blunt.
That's the song that came out when the D500 came out.
Such a
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
a wild
Do you
With a
remember? Do you
speaker.
remember True Tone? Polyphonics.
Yeah.
Oh,
Polyphonics and True Tone.
Oh, yeah.
and caller tunes.
I really want now more than ever for us to start like a WhatsApp of just send us your favorite like Nokia sound.
Oh yeah.
Like make that sound.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
I was in a time
I couldn't
machine
even do
now.
that.
I was in a time machine.
That
now.
came very natural for your mouth.
Because
Oh, that's not what I meant. Oh my god, that's not what I meant. I just I can't do sounds. Oh Lord, that's why
keep that in. I was going to say, wait. Because, just to like wrap it up, because if you remember the song by Justin Timberlake and produced by Timberlake, My Love.
Yeah. I've seen them.
That was so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
That was so...
That's still one of my favorite songs.
Nokia
today,
coded.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Timberlake literally heard, like, he was playing the
Yeah.
Thank you. That was amazing.
Oh, yeah. So much fun.
You've given us content. You've made our day.
Your voice.
So Celeste, towards the end, we like to give the guest an opportunity to do two things.
Oh goodness.
Right?
Mhm.
One is tell the people where they can find you.
All right.
TikTok, Instagram, the works, email at Yahoo if you want to. And the second thing is
Joking. No.
the link is in description. Second thing is if you could give a message to your younger self,
Yeah.
what would it be? So let's first get the promo out of the way.
Yeah.
All right. It's Celeste Anthony. You can catch me on the socials. The same everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all those things. Celeste_Anthony. And then weekdays on Good Hope FM. Celeste Anthony on the Pulse, 6 to 9 o'clock on Good Hope FM. And also in store at Ackermans. Thank you. So
Do you know
kind.
why, man? Because the way
switch,
you
yeah.
say
Switch, yeah.
good
The
help
switch, yeah.
when you are in your buttoned voice versus the way you were saying it the whole time. It's like the one you're getting paid to say. So before we swipe right, can you provide us a message
Yeah.
for your younger self?
I'll say this to my younger self. I'll start with my younger self, but I remind myself of this every day. Don't win your life.
Don't win.
Yeah, I look at him because I'm supposed to explain.
Yeah.
Don't win your life, right? I went my life a lot, and I find myself doing it sometimes too. And so I got to come back to the drawing board and say, don't win your life. When I'm 18, I'm gonna. When I have a boyfriend now, I'm gonna. When I have a child, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
When I get that job, I'm gonna really. When I
Yeah.
Because we do that. It's like a thing. I don't know why. When I'll be happy when, and then we wake up and then
it's gone.
It's gone. And I think I did that. I did that for a long time. And so now I need to remind myself, don't win your life. And so don't win your life.
Damn,
that's beautiful.
I think you must my invoice us. We can't get that for free.
We can't get that for free.
Go on. I think from my side and from all the audio listeners, we want to say thank you. This was an incredible experience. I know that JP took forever to ask you to come on. I'm joking. It's my fault. That's my fault.
You didn't even know who I am, so you can't even throw him under the bus at all. You started under the bus.
Know your place, bro.
You started under the bus.
Yo. JP actually take us home. Because you're in the bus, you can take us out.
Okay. So again, I know we started with saying thank you, but I think we also need to end off saying thank you. Because I think you have been fantastic. I hope you had fun just as much as we did. And I think for us, again, the whole concept here is to document. And you give us so much to document that I think it's just amazing that you gave us the chance to speak to you today.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me. Been watching for a while. I'll keep watching. You guys are doing a phenomenal job in platforming and showcasing talent. And I thank you. Thank you.
Do we have time for this? Sorry. Because I realize now you work in radio and you do this. Do you have a question for us?
Yes. No. Wow. So I'm going to do this because I was going to do it when we were done. Because I was going to... Well, I had the question a couple of weeks ago, but I was like, I already spoken to you. I would like to invite you onto my show. On a feature that I do on Wednesdays at 7:00. It's called Localist Liquor.
Okay.
And the concept behind it is I speak to individuals that is local, but they are liquor. And it sounds stupid, but what I mean with liquor is you are doing things to better the world. You're doing things to better this community. And that is what you guys have been doing here. I see people every week on the show that are local, that are liquor. And you are giving them a platform. Despite what they're doing, if they're doing radio, they're doing acting, when they come here, you get a different side of them. And I appreciate that you guys are doing that because as a consumer of that content, that's what I want to see. I was talking to JP earlier saying if we are chatting to Craig Lucas, right? He goes to all these radio stations, he goes on a media tour to talk about that single coming out. So we've all heard it. But when they come onto a podcast, you ask them about who they went to the matricle with. And that's the point really. And so that's why I want to invite you guys on because you're local and you're liquor.
Nice. And we get the opportunity to use a toilet in Amsterdam.
Please come use the SABC's toilets.
So please, if you like this content, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below what you thought the best part was. And we out.
Peace.